Torum is shocked at what he has heard and sneaks into the window. The two kids are happily exchanging thoughts and ideas about the book's contents. The book is cool, pal. Those items are out of this world. Where did you find this? Kyle asked excitedly. I found this in my father's warehouse. He got this in his adventures. Its cover is kinda weird. Let's keep this book safe from others. It is dangerous if someone with enough resources gets this book, especially the evildoers. Sean said, and Torum was surprised and smiled because of what he heard. He admired Sean's maturity. He was still looking at the book and got worried. After a couple of hours, Sean and Kyle decide to leave their secret base, the treehouse. When they left, Torum sneakily went inside the treehouse. He quickly opened the Book of Future and looked at its pages. Torum was shocked and became agitated. He thinks that the book is not for kids' play and should be hidden in a safer place. What on earth is this? This book contains blueprints that include deadly and massive weapons and items. Torum said to himself. Then, without hesitation, he took the book and left the treehouse. He would hide it in a safe place. A few hours later, at Sean's house, Sean's mother, named Lisbeth, is preparing some snacks for the kids. Hey Sean and Kyle, want some snacks? Lisbeth asks. Good timing, Mom. We're very hungry. Sean happily replied. Then Kyle stood up and looked at Lisbeth. And they smiled at each other. Then Sean asked his mother. Mom, where is father? Oh, sorry, I forgot to tell you. Your father will not come home tonight. He is on a mission. A very hard one, Lisbeth replied while preparing the food. Sean's eyes widened and got surprised. He was excited and worried about his father. Lisbeth saw Sean's worried face, and she said, have faith in your father. He is very strong. Kyle and Sean smiled at each other and felt relieved. Meanwhile, in Ruby City, Sean's father, named Warren, is now currently investigating the location of a wanted man named Hector, a notorious criminal. Warren is walking on the streets of Ruby City, disguising himself as a commoner. Wearing a coat, a black shirt, brown trousers, and a pair of brown shoes. He is keenly observing the surroundings. The beggars on the streets, the laughter of the kids, the noise, and the buzz of the crowd. He kept walking until noon. And then he decided to go to a tavern to ease his thirst and hunger. Warren arrived at the tavern. Lots of people are having fun, most of them are drunks. The noise is pleasing to Warren's ear, and he finds a good spot to sit and rest. Give me a sweet strong liquor, please, Warren asked the bartender. Then Warren removes his hood and relaxes. The bartender grabs the shot glass, throws it in the air, and catches it quickly. Then he uses a clean cloth to wipe it. Finally, he grabs a bottle and pours it into the glass and serves it to Warren. Here's your sweetie, the bartender says. Then Warren drinks it with ease. Then, suddenly, a man named Braun entered the tavern. He is a big man, probably 6 feet and 11 inches, a strong-looking man wearing solid chain mail and a long cape, with a big sword on his back. The people inside the tavern get intrigued, staring at him as he walks confidently and widely. Warren notices him, and the big guy sat beside him and called the bartender for an ale. My scar is always itching. Every time I see your face, Braun said to Warren. Warren just smiled and drank his liquor again. Then, after a few drinks, how difficult is this mission? Braun asked Warren. I want to catch Hector Smith, Warren replied. Braun got shaken a little and drank his rum. He knows that Hector Smith is a different type of criminal. Hector kidnaps people and sells them. Other than that, Hector is an assassin. His assassination skills and antics are unpredictable. He is quirky, fast and innovative. Braun is aware of this, and felt a little bit hesitant about Warren's offer. Hey Warren, how much is Hector's bounty? Braun asked. It's 500,000, big enough to start a new life. Warren replied, and Braun's eyes got widened, and he seemed interested in the mission. Then Braun drinks his ale and looks at Warren. And then, Warren just smirked at him. Let me hear your plan, I hope it's a good one, Braun said. Meanwhile, at the Emerald City Manor, which is located in the middle of the Emerald City, the house of the village chief of the Emerald City, Kyle's father, Ottern Shine. Ottern had just arrived at the manor. As he entered the manor, the lights revealed several wounds on his face, bruises on his eyes, cuts on his cheeks, and cuts on his lips. His clothes are messy. 2 of his warriors are helping him to walk. Medic, a knight says loudly. The medic rushes to treat Ottern's injuries. A female medic removed Ottern's clothes and was shocked. It revealed many wounds, slashed wounds, bruises, and cuts. It looks inhumanely bad. A normal human can't survive these injuries. The female medic is shaking her head while looking at Ottern's wrecked body. We need to operate the chief as soon as possible. They take Ottern inside a room. The medic removed a bullet from Ottern's arm, 10 pieces of bullet, sword wounds and some metal shrapnels on his back. Ottern suddenly coughs and spits blood. The medic got worried and said, I need more assistance here. Meanwhile, a young knight entered the manor. He was bothered because he saw a lot of soldiers panicking and murmuring inside the manor. Then he asked a knight, What happened? Then the knight bows his head and says, Young Master Ernest, the chief is badly wounded. Ernest's face became pale, and he quickly ran toward the room. Don't block my way, Ernest said loudly, and the warriors were shocked and quickly gave way to Ernest. Then Kyle just arrived at the manor and saw the situation. He sneakily ran between the gaps of the soldiers. Then he was shocked when he saw his father, badly wounded and fighting for his life. Kyle also saw his older brother Ernest getting agitated and yelling at the medics. Kyle slowly turned around but suddenly, Torum tapped Kyle on his back and says, Young master. You're back, are you hungry? Kyle glared at Torum and said, Torum, I didn't forget what you did earlier. Then all of a sudden his stomach growled and his face turned red because of embarrassment. Then he ran toward the dining room while looking at Torum angrily. Torum scratches his head while looking at Kyle, then he walks and asks a soldier, How's the chief? He is in a very bad shape. The soldier replied then. Torum realized that anyone who ever did this horrible thing to Ottern is a very strong individual. Torum's body shivered a bit. Then he clenched his fists, he started to feel hatred towards Ottern assailant. Several hours passed. It's the middle of the night. Kyle looks out the window from his room, observing the knights slowly marching around the manor, guarding it passionately. This is supposed to be a good chance to escape. My father is sick right now. But how is this possible? The knights don't feel sleepy. They're so durable. They can stay up all night. Kyle said to himself.